What's up YouTube, Happy Dueling, bringing you an updated Weather Painter profile. So, what we're going to do now we have a better understanding of the deck is take you through this one, give you a kind of explanations of why we play the ratios the way we do, and kind of what each card does. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. We play triple Weather Painter Snow. This is the short print of the deck. It's a pain in the arse, it is a short print, but it is very, very important. When this card is normal zoned, you get to place a weather spell or trap card directly from your deck into the spell and trap card zone. So it's a very, very nice card. It's really important because it does all the searching for you. Triple Weather Painter Thunder. Now we play both of these at 3 because they are very, very important. You want to see them as early on as you possibly can. Thunder lets you pop a continuous spell or trap card, any continuous spell or trap card you control, and then replace it for a weather spell or trap card from your deck. Which is really, really important because it can then help extend your plays, move your plays forward, or just get you to that card that you really, really need. Double Weather Painter Cloud. Now the reason we only play this at 2 is because it's better off a later game to kind of maximise its effect. It's better off after a couple of turns. So if another face-up weather card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 weather spell or trap cards in your graveyard and place them on the field. So it works in combos off really, really nicely with Thunder, because it gets to bring back the one you pop. It can also work with Magic Planter when you remove one of your traps, or specifically the Weather's trap, and kind of go from there. We play double Weather Painter Aurora. She basically protects your weather spell and trap card. So when it's normal zoned, you can place a weather spell or trap card from your hand, deck or graveyard to your spell and trap card zone. Your opponent cannot target weather spell or trap cards you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So it's very, very protective. Now, all the weather monsters share the same effect, that when they're banished for the effect of a weather spell or trap or even monster effect, they get to be special summoned back to the field during the next standby phase. 1 Sun. Now, Sun kind of recycles itself, but in order to recycle it, while it's in the graveyard, you send a face-up continuous spell or trap card you control to the graveyard, and then you get to special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, you place a weather spell or trap card from your hand. So you have to have, because it's not a if you do, you can, it's if you do place 1 weather spell or trap card from your hand face up into your spell and trap card zone, you have to have one of them in hand, which is why we only play him at 1, plus he's recyclable. The 1 Weather Painter Rain. Now the reason we play this at 1 is because it's very rare that you would special summon a Weather Painter, but when you do, you get to place a weather spell or trap card from your hand into your spell and trap card zone. Next up, we play double Masterpiece. Because we play so many continuous spell and trap cards, and we have the ability to keep our monsters alive and recycle them, Masterpiece is very, very important for both for its affecting graveyard and just to be a dominating beater of the deck. And we wrap it up with the 1 Maxi because, like we said before, it is the most important and powerful hand trap in the game. So that's it for the monster lineup. Very straightforward on that one. Moving on to the spells. Now, we play triple the Weather Snowy Canvas. Now, the reason we play triple of this is your main searcher. So, you combo this off with the Snow monster. You normal summon Snow, set this card, use this effect to banish Snow to bring Snow back as a 2200 defender, and you then get to search out either another canvas or, of course, another monster. You can only use the effect, or the effects of the canvases aren't specific to once per turn, but when you activate Weather Snowy Canvas, you kind of lock yourself in on this one because once you add, it's quick effect, so once you add a weather card from your deck, you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand except by drawing them after this activation. So, for the rest of that turn, basically. So it's very, very important that it's a quick effect because it means you can activate it during either player's turn. On top of that, it does kind of draw and lockbird you, in a sense, for that turn, but ideally what you're going to be doing is after that, you're only going to be drawing cards by adding them to hand anyway. Next up, we play double the Weather Cloudy Canvas. This one's really, really cool and important. The only downside is it cannot be used during damage step, which is a shame and a little bit odd for a card like this because it alters attack and defense. But I'm assuming the reason that it can't be activated during the damage step is because basically what you do is the exact same as all the canvases. It gives the effects to the monsters that are in front of it or to adjacent columns. So it basically gets to point to the next 3. If you put this center stage, it gains to all 3. Left, right, and centre. Anyway, what you do is you banish to activate the effects, you banish that monster, and then you get to activate the effects. So, for Cloud, where Snow is a searcher, Cloud, basically you banish 1 face-up monster on the field, except during the damage step, and then you get to target 1 monster on the field and half is a current attack, and for the rest of the turn, but it cannot attack directly. So the reason I'm assuming that it's not during the dash step is because it then means your opponent cannot attack directly. We then play one rainy canvas. This basically allows you to bounce back row. And then one sun. This is really, really weird. The only reason we play this at 1 is, or the reason we play it at 1 is because it requires 2 monsters. So you get to banish 1 card, then target 1 monster you control, and then tribute summon, or tribute it to then special summon a weather monster from your hand or graveyard, but not with the same name. So it's a very, very nice kind of recyclable effect. It lets you add stuff back, get stuff out of your hand, get stuff back from the graveyard. But the reason we play it at 1, again, is because it requires 2 monsters. You have to have that monster on field to be banished and then a monster to be tributed. So it's very, very important. Next up, I couldn't find my other 2, which is really, really disappointing, so I will have to hunt further. We play triple Valhalla Hall of the Fallen. Because you can control what monsters are on your board by banishing them with these spell and traps, Valhalla then gives you the additional to add another monster to that every turn. We play double Magic Planter. Because we have, I believe it is 7 continuous spells, 7 continuous traps that you can use with Magic Planter. More so the weathery trap, because you can only control 1 of each. Same with the canvases, these spells as well. You can only control 1 of each on the field. So Magic Planter can help clear off your trap card for you and give you a +2 draw. We then go with 2 double summon. This is really, really important in the sense is that if you have a field of canvases, you need more monsters to be able to use those effects multiple times and get multiple uses out of your canvases, which double summon can really, really help with, along with Valhalla. Finish it off with the 1 Defigure. Again, it's a continuous spell, so it can be used for Masterpiece, but on top of that, it can also be very, very helpful because you're banishing your monsters anyway, so it doesn't really matter if they go to the, they're not going to go to the graveyard, they're going to go to the banish zone. You very rarely let your opponent destroy your monsters anyway. So it can disrupt your opponent a hell of a lot more than it can you. Now onto the traps of the deck. We play triple Thunder Canvas. This card is really, really cool. So this is your damage step kind of card. Does the exact same thing as the spells. It gives the effect to the monster directly in front of it, or to the left or to the right. And then basically at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish this card and then return the opponent's monster to the hand. So it's a nice little bounce kind of play to go with. Triple Anti-Spell, because you place your cards from your deck or your hand sometimes, or even your graveyard sometimes, you get around Anti-Spell's activation. So this can actually hurt your opponent a hell of a lot more than it can you. The only ones that will kind of shut out is your Magic Planter, your Double Summon, your Defigure, and of course your Valhalla. But you have the ability to get rid of this both with your Magic Planter and of course with Masterpiece as well. Triple Drowning Mirror Force, because you have the ability to clear off your own board and leave your board open for direct attacks. Drowning Mirror Force is always a nice little fallback to go, nope, not happening, and bounce everything back to deck. The final continuous card is Skill Drain. Because it's the spells that give your monsters the effects to be banished to then search or do whatever. Skill Drain really only hurts you when you normal summon your Snow or stuff like that, so it's really reserved when you do play it. But Skill Drain can be a massively, massively helpful floodgate against your opponent and can cause them a hell of a lot more damage than, of course, causing you. And then we finish it off with the 1 Solemn Warning because it is the out to everything. Okay, so now onto the extra deck. The extra deck is quite open. It's a bit of a rank 3 toolbox with a kind of link monsters as well. But what we start off with is 2 Weather Painter Rainbow. This is really, really powerful card. The link markers are very nicely positioned and it requires 3 weather monsters and it is of course a link 3, 2400 attack. When your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, quick effect, you can send this link summon card to the graveyard, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster or monsters. Once per turn during the standby phase, after this card was banished for the effect of a weather monster, you get to bring it back to the main monster zone. This gives the effect, so its other effect is really, really small text. The weather effect monsters this card points to gains the following effects. When a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can banish that card, this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So it allows you to kind of negate stuff, and because it's not once per turn, or that effect isn't once per turn, you have 3 negates basically, which is really, really cool, especially if you've got them under like anti-spell and stuff like that. It's a very, very nice little lockout. We then play the 1 Gaia Saber and the 1 Deco Talker. You can easily take out Gaia Saber for Deco Talker if you want. I just really, really like Gaia Saber. It's another nice alternative. We play double Aquatic Magician. Again, really, really cool to start bouncing stuff back to hand, especially if you've got monsters on board that you want back in your hand for the normal summon again, so like Snow. You can bounce that back and kind of extend your plays. The one Proxy Dragon for a bit more protection. And I'm trialling out Topological Bomber Dragon because you have the ability to revive stuff during the standby phases. It can actually be really, really powerful to kind of wipe your opponent's board every standby phase if you need to, and kind of go from there. Then it's just a standard rank 3 toolbox of number 47 Nightmare Shark, double Phantom Knights of Breaksword, one Levier the Sea Dragon, one Wind Up Zen Main, one Ground Pulse, and then finish it off with the number 30 Acid Golem, which can be very, very good under Skill Drain. So as you can see, it's a very, very standard kind of extra deck. Nothing too special about it, but that's kind of the way Weatheries are. They don't always rely on going into the extra deck, and when they do go into the extra deck, they're mainly going in for the Weather Painter Rainbow, because that is what deals the most amount of damage to your opponent, and it can just be very, very disruptive and very, very effective against them. So, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a couple of ideas of the way around it. Check out the test time video that will be coming out tomorrow to kind of give you more ideas of the way the deck works and the mechanics behind it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.